show, well, the TECT All-Terrain Park provides diverse recreation opportunities for those looking for extreme adventure. Darren, it's fantastic that we're back here again this week. What are we going to be looking at?
Welcome back, Janine. It's great to have you back here at the TECT All-Terrain Park. It's good to see you folks again as well. We've got motorbikes, we've got mountain bikes, we've got horses. I'm going to take you to an old historic tunnel. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about forestry. Hang on to your seats, Janine. Here we go.
I'm Ken Lawton. I'm a Senior Development Engineer with the Western Bay of Plenty District Council, and I got involved in the park here trying to figure out exactly where these tracks were going to go. So we've figured all that out, and after a lot of hard work and slogging through the bush, and here we are today with a brand new public track.
And I'm Calvin Meredith from the Tauranga Motorcycle Club. I'm a committee member with the club. We've got a pretty strong club, and we're looking basically for a new home track to put our anchor down, really. And the TECT Park's just a fantastic opportunity for the club to develop some home facilities to serve the wider Bay of Plenty region.
Well, the facilities that the council have provided, they started off with a temporary public track over this side, and you see the toilet block there and this car park here. So what they've done is they've moved the public tracks over to the other side of the park and lengthened them about 3 times what they've got at the moment, and that will enable the Tauranga Motorcycle Club to move into the old public area and set up a competition area for themselves and a club area, and they'll establish themselves right here in this area.
We've got a strong base of children within the club. My children are 6 and 8 respectively, and they've been riding since they were 5, so it's sort of about growing the club for the children and the sort of next generation, but there's also a lot of adult riders that are really enthusiastic to get a new track and facilities up here. So it's been really great from the council to give us the support and the opportunity to establish ourselves up here. And in long term we plan to have an internationally recognised motocross track up here, both kids and senior track. Also with trail tracks, GNCC, which is like cross-country racing for motorbikes, enduro events, trials events, which is the guys who climb rocks and things. So really the world's our oyster from this point on. It's a fantastic opportunity.
Tauranga Pistol Club lost its range out at Te Puke about 21 years ago. Since that time, the Pistol Club has been looking for locations, and they were one of the original groups that found the location that's now the TECT Park. We started building here about 2 years ago with a rather large excavation, as you can see behind us, and further on over the valley. These are going to be the basis of a 20-stand, 25-metre international standard, what they call an ISSF range, the sort of shooting we do at the Olympics and at the Commonwealth Games, which New Zealand always wins golds at.
This is very exciting, really, isn't it? So what response have you had from members so far?
Oh, the response has been great. They've come down here on working days, they've built the walls out of tyres, they've sandbagged culverts, they've put in walls. Most of the members are fairly elderly. I'm one of the younger ones, unfortunately. And they do seem to have a little bit more time when you're retired.
Fantastic. Now there is a big slab of concrete behind me, a foundation for...
That's going to be our range shooting building. Basically it's like a cattle shed that opens at the front, so you can stand inside the shed, out of the sun, out of the rain, and shoot at targets 25 metres away.
Cool.
In safety.
So the plans for the next couple of years are?
Well, we're going to complete this range. This will be done to, again, international standards, so we can hold regional, national and international competitions here. Over the other side of the valley, we have a Y-shaped range, which is going to be used for what we call action pistol, and cowboy action pistol. That's where people dress up as cowboys at the 1870s and use firearms of that time, and shotguns, etc., and make lots of noise and smoke, and generally enjoy themselves.
Well, mountain bike towering has been involved in the TECT Park right from probably about 2005, 2006. Originally, the club was set up for the park. Before the park came along, there wasn't really a mountain bike club in Tauranga. Everyone just used to travel over to Rotorua. So the mountain bike Tauranga is one of its sole purposes is the park up here. The tracks that we have up here in mountain bike Tauranga have developed are mainly around the family orientated at this stage. Behind us, as you can see, there's a pump track for the kids. There's some short loops, probably about 8 or 10 k's worth of family trails, and then another 8 or 10 k's worth of slightly harder trails, and we're right in the middle of developing another 30 or 40 kilometres worth of trails over the next 2 years. There is a huge amount of potential up here. We've got, as I said, a lot more tracks to go in down here. We want to extend this kids area to give a lot more skills, and there's also a vision to have a big jumps area up here as well as some longer out and back type trails that they call more epic trails, where you're spending 4 or 5 hours on the bike. Tracks really start from, my daughter rides them when she was 3, so it's kind of really good for the families, and right up to however old you want to be or however daring you want to be. And as we develop the tracks, we'll be able to broaden the scope of the tracks from more the family ones out to the more difficult ones.
What response have you had so far?
It's been very good. The response has been fantastic. We've had a lot of families up here every weekend. Nearly every day there's kids up here and families up here enjoying the tracks, and as we expand it, we expect that to carry on. So generally we're just really at the starting point, but it's a fantastic project, once in a lifetime opportunity really. It's been really good to see my family up here. We talk about the TECT Park at home all week long usually, and really my kids have been coming up here since they were 2 or 3, and so they've learnt to ride up at the TECT Park, and as you can see behind me, they just love it. They'll go round and round in circles all day long, and they're now starting to branch out into more difficult tracks as they get more experienced and more skilled.
You don't necessarily need a machine to have an adventure at the TECT All-Terrain Park. You can just go for a run.
The Smith Sports Shoes Tauranga Trail Run is an event that the Tauranga Boys College cross-country team set up last year. We identified a need in the community for a family-orientated off-road run, and we discovered the park after it was opened and thought it would be a brilliant place to hold an off-road event, and sort of gone from strength to strength. We've had a lot of help from Jaron McInnes, the park ranger, and Pika Pika Trails, who are the group that work on this side of the park, setting up tracks. We've been out here on working bees and helped lay down some gravel and cut tracks and establish a really good 5 kilometre, 10 kilometre, 15 and 30 kilometre loops that we'll be running in December. Last year was the first year that we had it, and we had 500 people come along and come to the park and try the event. We're hoping to increase that up to 600 or more this year. The event this year will be on the 2nd of December. Part of the plan every year is that we plant a native tree for every participant. So last year we planted 500 native trees, and there's a grove of trees alongside the track that people will run past every year and watch those trees growing. We're also the first sporting event in New Zealand to be certified as carbon zero. So we offset all of our carbon emissions. We try to be as green and friendly as possible, so we're doing all of the recycling, and our cups and things like that are biodegradable. And in the future, we just hope that more and more people will come up here and experience the awesome facility that's available to the people, not just in Tauranga, but the wider Bay of Plenty.
Welcome to the Te Rangi Tunnel Trail. This tunnel was built back in 1935, and it was built by one guy. His name was Bob Speedy Pedersen, and it took him around about 5 years to cut out with a pick and a wheelbarrow, and he did it all by himself. The main reason it was cut was to divert water away so we could put the main Paispar Road between Rotorua and Tauranga in. And we've made it a natural feature of the park. We've spent a lot of money, a lot of man hours down here putting in boardwalks, making it safe for the general public, and it takes around about an hour to do the whole tunnel trail. I bring a lot of school groups down here, a lot of public groups, and one of the best things about this tunnel is it's full with glowworms, the Arachnocampa luminosa, and the kids just marvel at it. And every time we come into this tunnel, I always say, Waitomo Caves has got nothing on us. And people just turn around and go, yeah, right, Jaron. And when we get through to the other side, they say, yeah, well you were right, Jaron. And being a park ranger, I'm always right. You know, so that's the way it is. But the thing is with this place, when you're down here in the middle of the night, it's like you're standing in the middle of the Milky Way, because the glowworms are right there and they go in both directions. It's really, really massive. And I guarantee you, if you do come down here, it's worth a look.
So Jaron, where are these residents you're talking about?
Well, we've got a few in here, Janine, like up there.
Tauranga Equestrian Sports Association has been involved with the council and the TECT Park for a number of years. Since the park was in the planning stage until when it was opened in 2010, or this part of the park. And yes, it's been open to the public for the last 2 years nearly. There is approximately currently 15 kilometres of trail that horses can ride on. Some of them are shared with other users. We expect that pedestrians, runners, walkers will use horse trails as well. There's 20 pens here for your horse when you turn up and you want to tack up. There's a shelter and a toilet. And in the future we'd like to develop that further. Look, we've got another approximately 30 k's of trail planned. The park gives access to other blocks of land that could be used with permission. And to the north, or to my right from where we're standing, there's an area of say 5 hectares that could be developed into a grassed area with room for temporary dressage arenas or jumping arenas or cross-country jumps. Look, the park's a great place. Come and bring your horse up and go for a ride. This is not a place where you can come and hire a horse to ride. This is a venue where if you've got a horse and transport, come and ride up here. Bring your club, pony clubs have used the park, and come and have a good time. And just respect other users. We expect other users to respect equestrians as well.
This is the Bay of Plenty Radio Control Car Club, and the venue here is in the Te Matai Motorsports area. It's the area of the track of the park where we keep the motorsports and the likes of that. So this track's been designed for the radio control car enthusiasts, purely around the off-road scene. So when we say off-road, these cars are actually all-terrain cars travelling on dirt track, which is preferably clay, but also having jumps accommodating for that as well. Yeah, with this track it's been a lot of members hard earned time. We've also had a lot of charitable businesses come to the party as well, which has really helped out. But it's really about making sure our members have been putting on board. We've got an enthusiast base of about 28 members at the moment, and they've really helped out putting this track together. what we're wanting to achieve is to provide a base for the younger community, and we're the only club in New Zealand that's been able to put together a junior division. So it's something that we boast about for being such a young club as well. Future plans for ourselves will be holding national events up here through the New Zealand Radio Control Car Association, so that's sort of where we want to go, but yeah, time will tell. The amount of cars that we have on the track during a race is preferably 10, so we hold about 10 cars per heat, and the heats comprise of three qualifying 6-minute heats, and your best time is combined to sit you in a final. So we work the finals from A final right through. We have 10 cars in the first A final, and then B final we have the next 10 cars, and so on and so on. So we work to a maximum of 10 cars, and the rationale behind that is because our driver stand behind me can only fit 10 people, and it's generally keeping to a national standard as well.
Oh, what's the response been so far?
Our response has been fantastic. We established the club back in July last year. We were running on a track down in Tara Road in Papamoa, and we had a very small base of around about 10 to 12 members at that time. We've quickly grown to about 28 members. We're now, and we're getting about 1 or 2 queries a week, which has been great through the Te Mato website as well. So yeah, been very, very positive.
The TECT All-Terrain Park is an adventure high recreation park first and foremost, but it also provides for production forestry.
Most of the forests in New Zealand are production forests, whereas trees are planted, they're tended, pruned, thinned, and finally logged. With the TECT All-Terrain Park, we have certain areas that we've put aside for production forestry, and we've had other areas that we've put aside for amenity planting. When we talk about amenity planting, we're talking about planting minor species, which consists of Douglas fir, redwood trees and larch trees. Those trees have got a cycle of about 45 years, and they probably won't get cut down. The whole idea of putting these minor species in is to create an environment that looks like a real authentic forest. So if you're either mountain biking, if you're taking your horse for a ride, if you're going for a walk, you're not going through a standard normal production forest with soldering pine trees. We'll show you a couple of species if we get further on down the road. But in behind me, all this area here is set aside in the mountain bike area. It's never been planted. We've let it revert back to native. And when I started this job 3 years ago, it was all nothing but gorse, Himalayan honeysuckle and buddleia, and a whole lot of nasty weeds. We can see a lot of young native regen starting to come through, and that's what we're going to try and offer to people, is the experience of going through native and some different type of exotic bush. Now, part of the best thing about my job is I'm at the best place in my career right now, and I'm actually developing a park. So I've got to look 20 years ahead of me and think, what's it going to look like when you drive down here, when you walk down here, when you ride your horse, or when you ride your mountain bike. Instead of having soldering pine trees as part of the forestry program, like I mentioned, we plant different species. So we look at it now, looks like a bomb's gone off now, but in 5 years' time, these things will be a little bit more higher and we'll have different varieties. Here we are again, we're in the same area, but we're on the other side of the road, and we've planted around about 15 hectares of sequoia. Sequoia is a Latin name for redwood trees. These are what redwoods start off as. It's not like Rotorua where you've got massive big redwoods over there. So in 20 years' time, you can imagine what these trees are going to be like. I started my forestry career with the New Zealand Forest Service back in 1985, and back then we used to plant these different species as part of our planting program. It's not done so much these days. That's why it makes my job now so more exciting, because we're going back to more or less the old days of planting redwoods, Douglas fir and larch trees to enhance the environment, to give people a better experience when they come into the park.
With the park being such a valuable asset to the community, a volunteer fire crew was required to focus solely on the safety of and protection for users and the facility.
The volunteer rural fire crew is all about helping protect those that are up at the park. There's quite a few people that have got a lot of money and their own personal time invested in the area, So it's good for us to be here. If there's anything that happens within the park, we can help ensure that their investment stays whole and doesn't burn down, and we also help the surrounding area with any rural fire that they may need help with.
Yeah, this season we haven't actually had any call-outs, which has been a blessing, so things have been good on that account. We would like to get some practice in and put our skills to use, but at the same point, quite thankful there hasn't been any fires we've had to attend to this year.
This year 10 of us in this crew were awarded with volunteer medals for International Year of the Volunteer as part of volunteer service with all emergency services.
Being involved in the TECT All-Terrain Park is really cool. It's interesting. You get to do a lot of things, especially around the park. We've been doing a bit of firefighting training as well as helicopter training, as well as monsoon filling and emptying, hove entry and exit. And I've been learned how to fill up the fire engine. And where to get water supply from.
It's really awesome. It's not every day you get this kind of opportunity.
The response from the community's been quite good. They're not fully aware of what we do up here or that there's even a crew up here, but that's something that we'll be working on, getting our name out there and getting a bigger core group of volunteers.
Well folks, that's it again from the TECT All-Terrain Park. Thanks for coming up and have a look at the show. It's been an awesome day. Beautiful weather, and I'd like to thank everyone involved that's in front of the helicopter and making this possible today. Check out our website, tectallterrainpark.co.nz, or check out our website with the Western Bay of Plenty District Council. And when you do come up and play!
This has been an Alpha Media production, a division of Television Media Group.